Most students never get a band 7 or higher for vocabulary in IELTS because they use the same basic words again and again and again. For example, good, bad, cheap, expensive. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to show you 10 words that you can use to increase your speaking band score in IELTS. And if you're serious about getting a band 7 plus quickly, make sure you check out our step-by-step IELTS preparation course. The link is in the description below. Now, let's get started. Let's look at word number 1, which is spontaneous. Spontaneous is an adjective, and it means something done without planning or thinking too much in advance. So some synonyms for spontaneous are unplanned, sudden, or random. Here are some collocations. Spontaneous decision. So that means you make a decision without too much thought or without too much planning or thinking. Spontaneous reaction. So that means you react, you respond, you reply to something without much thinking. You do it quite quickly. And finally, spontaneous trip. So maybe you have the thought to go on a vacation today and then you go on the vacation tomorrow. That would be a spontaneous trip. Now let's look at some examples. We decided to take a spontaneous trip to the beach. I'm an extremely spontaneous person, which is in contrast to my mum, who likes to think everything through very carefully. So spontaneous is a great word to use when you want to describe something that happens without much planning or without much thinking. Let's look at the second word now, which is optimistic. Optimistic is an adjective, and it means hoping or believing that good things will happen in the future. Another way to think about optimistic is it means positive thinking, always looking on the bright side, always thinking about the good things. Here are some synonyms: hopeful and positive. And some collocations for optimistic are optimistic attitude. So if someone has an optimistic attitude, it means that they have positive thinking. They normally think that good things will happen. Another collocation is optimistic view. So this is very similar to optimistic attitude. And the last one is to feel optimistic. So if you feel optimistic, that means you think that good things are probably going to happen. So here are some examples. Despite all of the challenges I faced, I remained optimistic. So this means, yes, I had lots of problems and maybe lots of negative things, but even though I had all of those things, I still tried to have positive thinking or be hopeful about the future. And the second one is, she's an optimistic person and always tries to look for the positives in every situation. And this is a great way to use the word optimistic. You can use it to describe what type of person someone is. So like we've got here, we've said she's an optimistic person. Alternatively, you could say she is optimistic. Now, the opposite of optimistic is pessimistic. So pessimistic means that you think bad things will happen. You have a negative attitude towards the future or towards things in general. So instead of just saying someone thinks positively, try using the word optimistic instead. Now let's move on to word number 3, which is challenging. Challenging is also an adjective, and it means difficult in a way that tests your ability. So this is a great one to use instead of just saying hard or difficult. So here are some synonyms: hard, difficult, or tough. Here are some collocations: challenging task, so a task that is difficult; challenging situation, a situation that's difficult or hard; or a challenging experience. Now let's look at some examples. Learning a new language has been quite challenging for me, but I think I've done well. So you'll see here, instead of just saying quite hard, we've replaced hard with challenging, and we are using more advanced vocabulary. And let's look at one more example. Adjusting to a new culture can be incredibly challenging. So again, we're saying that adjusting to a new culture is quite difficult. So instead of always saying something is hard, try using the word challenging. And if something is really difficult or really hard, you can say incredibly challenging. Moving on to word number 4, which is notion. Notion is a noun and it means an idea, a belief, or an understanding of something. So notion is something that you can't touch. Here are some synonyms: idea, belief, or thought. Here are some collocations: vague notion. If something is a vague notion, it's not very clear. Common notion. If something is a common notion, it's an idea that most people probably know or most people are probably aware of. To challenge a notion. If you challenge a notion or you challenge an idea, you question whether that is 100% true or accurate. So here are some examples. Many people have the notion or have the idea that success requires hard work. So this simply means many people think or they have an idea that to be successful, you need to engage in a lot of hard work. And finally, I think the idea that money brings happiness is false because money can't buy certain things like health. So notion is a great word to use when you want to talk about an idea or a belief. Let's have a look at the 5th word now, which is encounter. Encounter is a verb and it means to experience or to meet something, especially something unexpected or something that is unplanned. Here are some synonyms: meet, face, or experience. Here are some collocations: encounter a problem. So that means you experience a problem. Encounter difficulties. So again, that means you encounter difficulties, you encounter difficult things, you face difficult things. And finally, you can just say encounter something. So encounter plus a noun. Now, here are some examples. At my new position, I encountered a lot of difficulties. So instead of just saying at my new job, I had lots of problems, you can say something like this: I encountered a lot of difficulties. This is going to make your speaking much more professional. And here's another example. If children encounter lots of challenges when they are young, it will help to build resilience. So this is saying if children face a lot of problems when they're young, it will help to build their resilience. So encounter is a great word to use when you meet something or you experience something, normally when it's unplanned. Okay, let's have a look at the next word, word number 6, which is deal with. Now, deal with is a phrasal verb, and it means to handle a situation or a problem. And it's often something that is negative or not good. So a situation that's not good or a problem that's not good. Here are some synonyms: manage, handle, or address. Here are some collocations: deal with problems. So that means handle problems, maybe to try and fix problems. Deal with stress. So again, you need to handle stress. You need to try and fix your stress or maybe even reduce your stress. Deal with customers. So again, handle customers. Now let's look at some examples. At my work, I often have to deal with angry and aggressive customers. A lot of people today find it hard to deal with stress, so they need to come up with some strategies that work for them. So this is saying that a lot of people find it hard to handle stress or to manage stress when it comes into their lives, so they need to think of some strategies that can help them in that situation. So deal with is a very common phrasal verb that you can use to describe handling situations or problems or managing situations or problems. And you should always try to use phrasal verbs in the speaking test where natural. We are up to word number 7 now, which is criticism. Criticism means saying what you think is wrong about something. And that's the thing. Normally with criticism, you'll say what you think is wrong about something. Here are some synonyms: disapproval, judgment, or complaint. Here are some collocations. Receive criticism. So if someone tells you what they don't like about you or something that you did, that means you are receiving criticism. The next one is constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is criticism that tries to help you to improve. It tries to help you to develop yourself or to do something better next time. And finally, the last one is harsh criticism. So that means very strong criticism. So here are some examples. My only criticism with that policy is that it doesn't take into account all of the relevant factors. So this person is saying that the policy is okay, maybe it's good, but the only thing that's wrong with it is it doesn't take into account all factors. He always welcomes constructive criticism. So this means he always welcomes opinions about him or his work that can help him improve. So criticism is a great word to use when you want to say what you don't like about someone, someone's work, actions, or ideas. Okay, moving on to the 8th word now, which is resolve. Resolve means to find a solution to a problem, to fix a problem. So some synonyms are solve and fix. Here are some collocations. Resolve a problem. So that simply means to fix a problem. Resolve an issue. Well, that has a similar meaning to resolve a problem. And the last one is resolve a conflict. A conflict is when two or more than two people are having a disagreement or having a fight. So if you resolve a conflict, that means you fix that conflict. You fix that issue. Here are some examples. My colleagues and I often work together to resolve issues. So this means we work together to fix problems. We work together to solve problems. Learning how to resolve personal conflicts is a very important skill that most people don't have. So this means learning how to fix personal problems is very important. So instead of always saying to fix a problem, try saying to resolve a problem instead. It's going to make your speaking sound more professional. Moving on to the 9th word now, which is impact. Impact is a noun, but it can sometimes be used as a verb. But for now, we're going to talk about the noun. So impact means the effect that something has on someone or something. So that's the key word there. Effect. Here are some synonyms: effect, result, and influence. Here are some collocations: positive impact. So this means a positive result or a positive effect. Negative impact, well, that's the opposite. That means a bad effect or a bad result. And finally, major impact. So that means a very big effect, a very big result. So here are some examples. Pollution clearly has a negative impact on the environment. So we're simply saying that pollution has a negative effect, a bad effect on the environment. Education has a major impact on a person's future, which is why it is so valued in places like Asia. So this means education has a very big effect on a person's future. So impact is a great word to use to describe how one thing affects another, and it sounds more professional than just using the word affect. Moving on to the 10th word now, which is encourage. Encourage is a verb, and it means to make someone feel confident or to help them want to do something. Here are some synonyms: support, motivate, or inspire. Here are some collocations: encourage someone to try something. So if you encourage someone to try something, that means you support them and you help them want to do something. So maybe you suggest to them that if they do that thing, they will get positive results back. encourage learning. So this means when you suggest to someone that they should learn. And finally, encourage teamwork. One thing teachers can do is encourage their students to ask questions if they aren't sure about anything. So that means that teachers should tell their students, hey guys, if you have any questions, please ask. Don't be shy. And finally, my parents always encouraged me to do my best. So they were some words to improve your speaking band score. If you also want to improve your vocabulary for writing task 2, check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Keep practicing and keep studying hard. Take care.